isn't the whole universe just an emotion within the consciousness? Like we just feel alive, we just feel the stimulation of existence that makes us feel like it's real. Like we say like I feel alive. Like we say I am alive and you ask them how, like prove it to me. They're like I feel it. I feel that I'm alive. So like pretty much everything is just a sensation. And like the most powerful things in this world are like hatred and fear and love and joy. Like these, like the most driving factors of our entire human species are these things called emotions that we don't understand at all. We don't teach them in school. We don't even really talk about them. We have very limited words for them. Like we have more names for colors than we do for even emotions, but arguably there's as many emotions as there are colors, or even more than that.
I know emotions are such a weird thing because they sort of color your memories of the past. Like sometimes I'll feel a very strange emotion that, I don't feel very often, let's say, like some like rare specific emotion, and I'll immediately start to think about this one other time in my life where I felt that exact way, you know what I mean? And then it's this weird nostalgia that pulls me into that moment and I'm like, yeah, I felt this emotion back then too. And then it makes you realize like we just develop language to categorize things. Like emotion is not like a categorization, it is a spectrum in a way. Like we say like they're happy, they're sad, they're this, they're that. But really it's all just like so much more fluid than all of that.
Yeah, it's not really something that can be um, like held on to. Like you can't really make substance of a sensation. It's really hard to even express it to each other. Like even if we had words, you'd have to like have felt the same thing and attached it to the same word as somebody else. Like thoughts are much easier to grasp, so I think that's why we just don't really focus on emotion all that much. But it's like the most powerful part of a human being. It's what keeps us fighting for our lives, like, even despite the worst of circumstance. It's what we give ourselves in the hard times. Like I think the difference between someone that makes it out alive and somebody that gives in and dies and gives up is the emotions that they support themselves with through the hard times. If they're in the same circumstances, like one man might feed his body like support, like encouragement and hope. And if those are things you can give yourself just by like wanting to, and that's the difference between life and death, then the keys to the whole universe are within us at all times. It's just a matter of deliberation and worthiness. Like, do you feel worthy of happiness? If you did, you would probably be happy. Like, I think that's really the only difference.
And I like what you said, like on the flip side of that, it's like the people that, don't want to be alive or they're like not trying to fight anymore or they feel like they just like want to give up. Your body like slowly starts to like kill you. Like when I was in school, I had a teacher and he was both the philosophy teacher and the health teacher. So he was like a medical doctor in the army. And I was in his philosophy class and we were listening to Man's Search for Meaning in class and reading it and things. And he was sharing his perspective because, in Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl was also a doctor and he said he could tell um, when one of his patients was going to die because they like gave up their will. He said the ones that were fighting every day that told him like I want to be alive, they were the ones that usually made it. But he said the ones that started to be like I don't even care anymore, like just let death take me. So it's like if you tell your body like I'm done, like stop fighting, like I'm just done with this, like your body will follow suit and just let you go. And my teacher said that it was the same thing when he was in the army. Like some people, they weren't like fighting for it. They weren't like desperate to be alive. And I think that's so crazy that we don't even realize that there is some aspect of that. Like if you are fighting for your life in those moments, that can be the difference between surviving and living on and recovering from what you're going through, or just giving into it and letting it consume you, you know?
Yeah, I think in many ways that's what happened to me. My health problems showed up right when I was suicidally depressed. Like I was in high school, and like looking back, I had every reason to be happy. Like I mean, back then, like sure, I had every reason to be sad. Like it's just a matter of perspective. But the person I am now in those circumstances, I could have been happy as ever. But I was really lonely, and also like looking at the world and learning more about the world as a teenager is really hard. Like it's a hard reality to come to when you have to come to all those conclusions about like where this whole world was heading. Like I was convinced that the whole world was ending, that we were like heading for like nuclear Armageddon. And I was so depressed and I lost my will to live. And once that happened, within just a couple months, my breathing and my heart went from like totally fine and healthy to like I was suffocating every single day. Like my body just started deteriorating so fast. And yeah, I think like that mindset is so toxic. Like when you just start feeding your cells with the input of like there's nobody to here to support you, like this mission is over, like you're just basically like telling your entire body like we are dying, we want to die. Like there's no like fight left. There's no like immune, like your whole body is like there to protect you, like your immune system's there to protect
Yeah,
you.
it's like
But when it starts to tell the rest of the body like sorry gang, like it's over.
it's like all your cells are like little workers. Like they have to struggle and fight and use energy to like stay alive and move and do things and perform functions. Like if you were their boss in a way and you like treat them terribly and so like let's just die. Like
Yeah,
let's
like
just
this
let's
company is
just
going bankrupt.
like,
Guys.
let's
Like,
shut it
stop
down.
working.
Like,
There's no need.
yeah, like if your employees feel like, oh wait, oh like I'm getting laid off in 6 months. All right, I'm gonna just like play Flappy
I'm
Bird.
just gonna quit right now.
I'm just gonna play Flappy Bird on my computer then and just like and not care what the like if the company's going down, like why try to keep it afloat, you know?
No, for real. What if the company is like fine? Like, what if it's just the CEO that's like totally incompetent? He had a bad day. He's like, you know what? F this. Like, this it's going down. So he gets on the intercom like, this company is failing. Like, we are losing. Like, even if the company, like, let's say the company's like doing good. Like, it's like the placebo, like you were saying. Like, the company's doing amazing. It's doing fine. But like you're pulling a prank on your staff, you get on the intercom. This company is done for. We are toast. Like I don't even know if any of you will have jobs 6 months from now. Yeah, like the company, like
They'll start looking for other
the
options.
shareholders will all start jumping ship. Employees will
sure.
start to quit.
But yeah, like I had a similar experience where like obviously we have some like genetic factors involved, like why we both got similar health issues and so did our little brother and it runs in the family. But like I definitely felt like I put myself on that path for these health issues to manifest. Maybe I had some underlying symptoms and some things that might have been leading to that. But at the time of my life, like I was spending a lot of time like alone. I was very lonely, depressed, anxious, just sitting inside all day, every day, like thinking about the world and how terrifying it was. And I was just filling myself and my body with all of these like terrifying emotions. And it was like this clenching started to happen. Like I was so afraid. I just wanted to curl up into a ball. I didn't want to exist anymore. And it's like my body started to fall apart and my immune system was compromised. And I think they've proven that stress is like terrible for your immune system. And so in a way, like, we might not have gotten health issues if we hadn't been so afraid and given all of this negativity out into the world and just like, like weakened our body so much that it was susceptible to this inflammation and this like outbreak of whatever this is,
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like we both give in to worry. I feel like as an overthinker, you're always like trying to figure out what's gonna happen in the future. We're trying to predict the future, so we're constantly afraid of the worst case scenario. We're projecting our worry into the future, and you're indulging in fear of something that doesn't even exist, and there's really nothing worse for you. And in some ways, like if there was even somebody around Like, it wasn't me, obviously, doing this for me, but if there was somebody around encouraging me and telling me every single day, the future looks bright, Andrew. Like, there is just so many things to look forward to and be hopeful for. You're so young, you have your whole life ahead of you. You can definitely climb out of this. You'll make more friends. You'll get there if you just stay strong. Then I would have been reacting differently with a different perspective to my circumstances. And at the end of the day, that makes all the difference. Like, I wasn't strong enough to do it for myself, and there was nobody around to do that for me. But that just goes to show how powerful it is to be that person for yourself and for other people. And you can literally save a life by choosing to do the hard thing and smile through hard times and indulge in hope instead of fear, because what's the difference? We can't predict the future, but if you are hopeful moving into the future, the likelihood of the future being better than worse is much higher than if you were to be going through it with fear.